after you see this demo, you're going to take this project, this little thing that I created. I'm calling it the magic dress. You're going to change it to the 4 colors that I have on the side. I'm going to show you. These are from Amazon. This is like real live Amazon. Okay? You can tell that is the same picture. They simply have changed the like look of the dress visually. Bless you. It gets a little bit more complicated when you include patterns, but most places would have like a program that would like bend the pattern to like meet the like 3-dimensionality of the dress. We're not going to get into that right now. This dude, that one, see, oh, look at that. That is disproportionate. Somebody didn't do their job. Somebody like, if I was the marketing director for this and this was my product online, I would make them fix that. That would drive me crazy. Because do you see how they're stretched? Yes? Okay. All right. So he is wearing the same shirt, though. We can all agree, right? Different colors. Do you guys feel like you see that a lot online? Yeah. You're like, oh, I want to see what this bathing suit looks in yellow, like in yellow. And then it's like, oh, it's the same picture. And then sometimes you get the product in and it's like the wrong color. All right, we're going to take what we know about masks and we're going to take what we know about adjustment layers and we're going to turn this dress into these colors. Now, this is 2 different frames from an Amazon product that I got. This is showing that it has pockets because if you've ever worn an outfit that has pockets, that normally wouldn't have pockets, we all know it's amazing. So like I would wear that dress just because it has pockets. So what I noticed is that this is trying to show, like if I looked online at this like bluish, like grayish smoke color, that this would be the same. In my opinion, this is like a little bluer, purplier than this is like a little bit closer to gray. So I want to make some adjustments for that. But your goal is to make the dress black, magenta, hunter green, and like a mustard yellow, okay? So let me just move that out of the way. All right. So first things first, let's think about how we have to do this. We're going to use adjustment layers. We're not going to be destructive. We're not going to paint. If I go into my adjustment layers and I start with hue and saturation, okay, let me just show you. All right, everything changes, including the color swatches that I'm using. I'm going to delete this. First thing I want you to do, step 1, do a selection box around what we need to change. Now, you can open up an adjustment layer. One you probably haven't worked with so far is Selective Color. It's super powerful. Now, just really quickly, I'm going to show you how this works. There's different color categories, but I'm just going to go into neutrals and I'm going to show you how my mask is working. All right. You noticed my swatches haven't changed. Do you guys see that? Okay, because I have the mask. All right. Obviously, her skin is changing, but we will address that in just a moment. All right. Let's start. I go to neutrals because this is kind of a neutrally toned dress. Okay, if it was a yellow dress, I would probably go to one of these colors, but I'll show you how that works in a second. So let's just stick with neutral. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find this magenta color. Okay, so it's made up with cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, which is CMYK. I will get into that more in the future. But if I remove some cyan and I add some magenta, maybe play around with a little bit of the yellow, that's a little purpley. Maybe lighten it. No, keep it lighter. Okay, so like a dance, just like I've told you guys. All right, let's say that that's pretty close. Let's pretend we're really happy with that magenta, okay? I'm going to go right here. I'm going to call this Selective Color magenta or pink dress or whatever you want to call it, okay? That way I know this is the layer adjustment that I used for the magenta. Now, is this ready to go on Amazon? No. No, it's not. I need to mask out this crazy skin here and all that. So I'm going to go to my mask. I'm going to rush right now because I told you guys it would take 5 minutes. Boop, 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 boop. Go right here. I'm going to switch this so it erases to black and I'm going to hit delete. Now, I would be more careful than that in real life, in IRL, as you guys say. Okay, let's pretend that I'm taking my time. I could do this with the eraser. You know, I could go in here. I could kind of clean it all up, etc. call it a day. Let's pretend that I'm being really awesome. I'm such a perfectionist that this gives me anxiety if I don't do it right. All right. Now let's pretend everything is masked out except for the dress, okay? I also got to go here, clean up these areas. The shadows, you don't want to have a pink shadow on them. Oops, I kind of went into the wrong area. Simply flip-flop this, paint that back in because I'm using a mask. I'm not destroying anything. I don't want the phone to have this weird color cast. Okay, so you guys get what I'm saying, right? Go in, erase that all out. Okay, the best thing about Photoshop, I've got this great layer. I've already masked it. It's perfect. If we're pretending, all I have to do is right click on this and I have to say duplicate layer. I'm going to hit OK. Well, that actually makes it closer to the color that I'm looking for, but we're going to shut off the first magenta. Let's call this layer black. Okay. Now I'm still in my selective color. See, all of the sliders are still where I wanted them to be. See this little like arrow? I can hit that and it resets to the original. I can go back into my neutrals. Maybe I should take out all the color. Maybe I need to add cyan back in. Let's see. Or maybe I need to add them all in. What do I need to do here? Okay. So are you guys getting the feeling of the online shopping experience? Okay, so you're going to have to kind of go through and experiment. That's not right. Maybe go to blues. Okay, I want you to play with it. Be careful, like this is kind of getting funky. See how my, oops, that silly spacebar issue again. See how this is getting funky? If you're starting to get funky, do you want me to give you a piece of advice? Go back to the normal. Hit the undo and start over. It's experimentation, okay? You're going to have to play around with it, all right? You can also go into blacks. You can, you know, see that really affects the highlight. Do you see that? So that would be an area that maybe you don't want to touch. So spend some time on it and practice with it. You've got to turn the door hard to the right. But if the door is closed, please go the other way, as the sign says.
The right?
Yeah, like turn it towards the right. Hard and then pull. There you go. To my beautiful YouTube listeners, sorry about that. Okay, so experiment, create all four. What I would do is make a layer for each one. But this is what I would do. I would do Shift Command 4, screenshot this, and upload that to Schoology. So play around with it. I'm not going to give you all the secrets. In my opinion, the magenta one is probably the easiest. But play around with it a little bit. If selective color is not your jam, I'm just going to show you one more thing. I'm going to do this. I right click on the layer mask and I hit add layer mask to selection. So now I have the selection. And I can go here and I can go to hue and saturation. I've still got my beautiful layer mask that I played around with, and you can try adjusting the hue as well. Okay, I wish I could do this in real life with my closet. It would be awesome. You can saturate things. So maybe you might need a combination of layers. Okay? But does this make sense to everybody? Questions? Okay, I'm going to